think how the contemporary art in Finland is at the moment, it's many times the themes are related to things in society, and like many people are interested in things like injustice or the negative sides of capitalism or the eco-crisis or things like this. And people are, or the artists are doing, in general, art about very serious themes. So I thought that as a graphic novel artist, it might be interesting to tell stories from history that people still somehow remember, or at least their older relatives or someone who they know, they remember. So I think it's some kind of the serious themes in my graphic novels. It's a comment, of course, on the, or I feel that I participate to the conversation what happens in contemporary art about the state of the civilization in general and all this global problems we are facing at the moment. And by bringing themes of the near history, I try to understand today and the future also. And about the seriousness of the topics, I think it's necessary to deal with difficult topics. And I think maybe I guess the culture in Russia in general is a bit different than how the difficult things and themes are dealt with. But I think my generation, especially young women of about my age, there's many who have taken war as their topic, and they have made brilliant novels, not graphic novels, but novels about the war from new perspectives, and that has been really interesting for me. I think it's that it was my grandparents' generation who experienced the war, and there has been this one generation in between, and now the grandchildren are kind of ready to go through the grandparents' traumas and talk with each other and also with the grandparents of what was it really like in the war. That was it so like was it just glory and victory, or what was it? Yeah. So this is a pile of drawings I have drawn here, but actually they are not just drawings because I have animated these pictures. So I have been drawing about 2,000 pictures while I'm here, but always on the same paper and then animating. So this is my technique. It's the University Library of Turku that burnt in 1827, and all the collections. It was the biggest and most important collection of books in Finland that time, and it was all burnt. So when I do the animation, I draw. The first picture was that the building was in a good shape and the window glasses were there and there was no fire. But then I just added the fire and took an image of each movement, and then I took maybe 20 images of this one picture, and then in the animation you see the flames burning. And after, then there's a little boy called Matti Pohto, who lives somewhere in the countryside, and the father is drunk. He has got the big house, but he drinks so much and he's got lots of debts. So one day they hear a knock on the door, and the men who the father owes money, they come and take the house. And so the family has to leave, and Matti becomes a beggar when he's 8 years old. And then he makes his living by there are these fences everywhere in the countryside, and he opens the gates for the people who pass by, and he's begging for money from them. So he's very poor. But then it turns out that he's a good reader. He's a local priest who is teaching the village kids to read. So I have imagined that he would have stayed by himself at the priest's house and read whatever books he could, because it was his thing, obviously. He grows older, and he starts to collect books. He goes around Finland, gets the books wherever he goes, and he goes to Helsinki. This is the center of Helsinki. It's the big church which is still there. Mm-hmm. And he, after the university library in Turku burned, it was replaced in Helsinki, and there was a new big building built for it. And Matti Pohto goes to this building, and I repeat that he really lived as a wanderer. He just traveled around and never changed his clothes, and probably wearing a fur hat and being a bit like a bear-looking guy. And here you see all this fine educated people there. He could read, but he didn't have the chance to go to any schools. So he brings his books to the library, and he meets the main librarian, Professor Pipping, to whom he gives some of the books that he collected. And actually he saved the Finnish literature by collecting these books, because it was all the oldest books that were printed in Finland and written in Finland that were ruined when the Turku library was burnt. But he collected 5,000 books by going from house to house, and he got so good in with his book knowledge that he could, even if there was one page, one leaf from one page from a book, he could recognize not only from which book is it, but also from which edition it is. And he had even more knowledge than this professor on the books. And that is not all, because if his life was extraordinary, his death was also very weird, because in 1857 he was collecting books in the area of Viborg, and he went to sleep, to stay overnight in one house, and he was sleeping on a bench by the wall. And then there was one worker guy from a neighbor house who had promised to repair boots of the house owner. And so the workerman went to take the boots from under the same bench where Matti Pohta was sleeping, and Matti just then happened to turn and he spit, and part of the spit hit the workerman's face, and he got so angry that he took an axe and hit the axe to Matti's head. And so that time they couldn't do anything with the body. They had to wait 6 hours before the local policeman came and took the body away. So it's an amazing story.
The last thing I even didn't write down.
Yeah, and so nowadays his meaning for the Finnish literature is recognized, and this year it will be the anniversary. Which anniversary? Well, anyway, this year the library, Turku library, burned. It's the anniversary of that, and so relate to that we are making this animation and a documentary about Matti Pohta, the wanderer or a vagabond who saved the Finnish literature.